I didn't find out about my husband's affair from a lipstick stain or a suspicious text. I found out because he brought her home. Not to confess. Not to beg. Not to leave. To install her as a permanent fixture. My CEO husband looked me in the eyes and told me his pregnant mistress was moving into the east wing of our mansion. He said it like he was approving new countertops. Then he warned me not to make it ugly. Like my dignity was an inconvenience. And here is the part that matters. He did not do it because he loved her. He did it because he believed I was trapped. If you like stories where a woman gets underestimated, outplayed, and then quietly flips the entire board, subscribe. Like this video. And stay with me. Because what I did took a full year. And when it landed in one room, in front of the exact people he needed most. And it cut his life in half without me raising my voice once. My name is Evelyn Harrington. I'm 52. I live in Greenwich, Connecticut. Greenwich looks like safety, manicured hedges, perfect driveways, quiet money that never sweats. But behind those doors, power does whatever it wants. And my husband, Charles Harrington, loved power more than he ever loved me. Charles was 55, CEO, media darling. The kind of man who wore a gold Rolex like it had fused to his wrist. The kind of man who smiled for cameras like he owned the world, and the world was grateful for the privilege. We had been married 27 years. I was the woman in the background. The one who hosted the charity dinners. The one who remembered birthdays. The one who made sure the staff knew the difference between formal and impressed the board. The one who kept the house running like a five-star hotel and the family looking like a brochure. I left my career when the kids were small. I did it because he said we would be a team. I did it because he promised I would never regret it. And because I believed him. We always had help. Nannies when the children were toddlers. Tutors when they were in private school. Housekeepers. A chef on weekends. A driver when Charles wanted to make an entrance. People love to say that makes you spoiled. Let me tell you what it actually makes you, if you are not careful. Replaceable. Our daughter Sloane was 24 and living in New York City. Our son Grant was 21 and finishing college in Boston. Both still called our place home. Both still believed their father was a hero. I did not call them that first day, because I understood something immediately. Charles had not come to confess. He had come to command. Confession implies guilt. Command implies ownership. He had already decided what my role would be. He just expected me to read the script and perform it. That morning, he sat across from me in the breakfast room. Sunlight on the marble. Fresh flowers somebody else had arranged. Coffee poured by somebody else's hands. A home that looked like peace. Then he spoke like he was approving a renovation. She's moving into the East Wing, he said. We're converting the guest suites. She needs privacy, and the baby needs stability. Then he looked at me like I was a problem he expected to stop existing. Evelyn, be reasonable. Don't make this ugly. Ugly. Like the ugliness was my potential reaction, not his decision. I stared at him and felt my face stay calm, because I had learned how to stay calm. Calm had been my job for years. Calm kept the children comfortable. Calm kept donors smiling. Calm kept staff from gossiping. Calm kept Charles powerful. He pushed his plate away like the conversation was done. This is not negotiable, he said. Bella is carrying my child. She is not living in some rental like a secret. I'm done hiding. We're going to handle this like adults. Bella. Isabella Cruz. 37 years old. Outrageously beautiful in the way that looked expensive even when she wore something simple. Dark hair. Perfect skin. A smile that said she had been told yes her whole life and believed it was her natural right. I had seen her once, from a distance, at a company event. I remember thinking she was too polished to be a junior anything. Now I understood why she hovered around executives like a shadow that wanted sunlight. I said very clearly, you want your mistress to live in my house. He leaned back, smiling faintly. Our house, he corrected. And yes, for the sake of the baby. I laughed once. Not joy. Disbelief trying to escape without turning into a scream. You're disgusting, I said. His eyes sharpened. He did not raise his voice. He never had to. Power does not shout. Power informs. You're emotional, he said. And this is why we can't have a productive conversation. I'm asking you to be smart for once. For once. After 27 years of marriage, he said for once. That was the first moment something in me turned cold. Not broken. Not sad. Cold. He stood and adjusted his cufflinks like we were discussing a staffing change. We'll announce a separation later, he said. Not right now. Not until the markets calm down. The board is watching. The press is watching. I need you to keep your face in place. Then he pointed toward the hallway. Actually pointed. The East Wing. It's separated. She'll have her own entrance if she wants. We'll make it tasteful. You can handle it. You're good at running a house. He said it like a compliment. Like I should be proud of my domestication. Then he paused at the doorway and gave me the look men give when they think they have won. And Evelyn, don't embarrass yourself. You're still the mother of my children. Don't make me regret being generous. Generous. That man was moving his pregnant mistress into my home and warning me not to embarrass myself. If you have ever had someone treat your dignity like it belonged to them, you know what happens inside your skin. It feels like a costume you want to rip off. Like you want to step out of your own life and leave it on the floor. But I did not throw a plate. I did not cry. I did not call my friends. I did not call a lawyer. Not yet. Because I knew Charles. Charles was not just a cheater. Cheaters are common. Charles was something more specific. He was a man who believed he could do anything as long as he looked calm while doing it. He believed optics were reality. And he believed my silence was consent. So I gave him what he expected. I gave him calm. I lifted my coffee cup and I said, okay. He blinked, just once. He was expecting bargaining, tears, threats, a messy scene he could label unstable. He was expecting me to prove his point. Instead I said, okay, we'll do it your way. Relief slid into his face. Not love, not gratitude. Relief. Because he did not want a wife. He wanted a manager. He walked back in, kissed my forehead like a father rewarding a child for behaving, and said, that's my girl. My girl. At 52. In my own home. Then he left for the city. Driver waiting. Rolex flashing. World owned. And I sat there alone with the flowers and the coffee and the silence. Then I did the first thing I had not done in years. I listened to myself. Not my role. Not my reputation. Myself. And the message was simple. If I reacted, he would control the narrative. If I waited, I could control the outcome. That day the construction started. Contractors came through like we were adding a spa. Designers walked the hallways. Staff whispered. People avoided my eyes. 2 weeks later, Bella arrived like she was checking into a resort. She did not come through the front door. She came through the side entrance used for deliveries and staff. I found that funny in a bleak way. A mistress wants the mansion but enters like a package. I met her in the corridor near the east wing. She was alone except for a designer bag and a smug expression. Her belly showed beneath a fitted coat like she wanted it admired. Evelyn, she said, like we were acquaintances. Thank you for being mature about this. I smiled. Oh, Bella, I said. You're welcome. She blinked. She was not sure if I was mocking her. I stepped aside and gestured down the hallway. Your suites are down there, I said. If you need anything, ask the house manager. Not me. Her chin lifted. I'm carrying Charles's child, she said quietly, like it was a weapon. Yes, I said. That's the main thing you're bringing to the table. Her eyes narrowed. Then she smiled as if she had decided I was pathetic. That's fine, she said. I'm not here for friendship. I'm here for what's mine. I held my smile. Good, I said. We understand each other. That was day 1. Day 2 was worse. Charles came home early. He walked Bella through the main house like a tour. Like she was a buyer. Like I was staging the place for sale. He showed her the conservatory. The wine room. The portrait hallway. Then he stopped in front of a framed photo of me with our children when they were little. Matching outfits. Smiles that had cost me years to maintain. Charles glanced at the photo and said to Bella, that was a different era. Then he looked at me. You can update those, he said. No need to keep living in the past. Bella laughed, light and pretty. And I stood there in my own hallway and watched my life get redecorated. That was the first major betrayal. Not the affair. The affair was a symptom. The betrayal was the erasure. If you have ever been erased in your own home, comment and tell me. I read every single one. And I promise you, you are not alone. That night I went to my room, locked the door, and sat on the edge of my bed like a woman who had been turned into furniture. Then I opened my phone and searched a name I had not touched in years. Mateo Alvarez. He was my past. The kind of past you bury politely when you marry a man like Charles. The kind of past you tell yourself was youthful foolishness. Mateo was not foolish. He was real. I did not call him that night. I did not message him. I only stared at his name like it was a match. I needed a plan first. Because here is the truth. Charles could outspend me. He could outlawyer me. He could out-public relations me. But he could not outweight me. I had been waiting my whole marriage. Waiting for him to come home. Waiting for him to notice. Waiting for him to stop moving the goalposts. Waiting had trained me. Now I was going to use it. Over the next months, I played the role he wrote for me. I hosted. I smiled. I attended dinners. I posed for photos. I stood beside Charles while Bella lived in the East Wing like a hidden infection. We told the world nothing. Charles wanted stability. Markets calm. Board relaxed. He wanted my silence. So I gave him silence. But I also started learning. I learned staff loyalties. Who reported to Charles? Who reported to the house manager? Who was afraid? Who was bribed? Who simply wanted their paycheck in peace? Bella treated the staff like a mixture of servants and witnesses. Polite when it benefited her. Cruel when it did not. She called the chef by the wrong name 3 times in a week and laughed like it was cute. She demanded a specific kind of water and then complained it tasted too wet. One night at dinner she looked at me and said, "You must be relieved. You can finally rest. You did the wife thing. Now it's my turn." The room went silent. Even the staff froze. Charles smirked and said, "Bella, don't tease Evelyn." Tease. That was the word he used. Like humiliation was foreplay. I smiled and lifted my glass. "Bella," I said. "You're right. I am relieved." Her smile widened, satisfied. "I'm relieved," I continued, "because it takes pressure off me when you start saying the quiet parts out loud." Charles's eyes flicked to me. Bella did not understand what I meant. She only felt the temperature shift. I took a sip. "Enjoy your turn," I said. Later in our bedroom, Charles said, "Don't provoke her." I looked at him. "You brought her here," I said. "You handle her." His jaw tightened. "Remember your place," he said. That was the moment I knew he was not just cheating. He was conquering. And conquerors do not stop until someone stops them. So I began building something. Not a scene. A trap. 6 months in, Bella gave birth. A boy. Charles was ecstatic in that performative way men get when they think a baby proves something about them. He carried the baby through the house like a trophy. He posted a carefully worded announcement. No mistress. No affair. Only blessings and new chapters. Strangers congratulated him like he was brave. The comments made my skin crawl. "He looks so happy. He deserves it. What a beautiful family." Family. I watched strangers cheer my replacement. And I stayed quiet. Because I was watching something else. I was watching Bella's confidence grow. And confidence makes people careless. Bella started acting like the East Wing was not enough. She wanted the main house. She wanted to be seen. She started coming to breakfast, joining dinners, ordering changes. Once she told the florist, right in front of me, "Charles likes white lilies now." Not whatever she used to pick. Whatever she used to pick. Like I was a previous tenant. I smiled. "White lilies are funeral flowers," I said. Bella's eyes widened. I added sweetly, "But they are very elegant. Great choice." Even the florist choked back a laugh. That was one of my small joys. Not revenge. Not yet. Just the occasional pinprick. Then about a year in, Bella handed me the key without realizing it. It was an ordinary afternoon. I was in the home gym. Not because I was obsessed with being thin. Because routine keeps you sane when your life is being rewritten. Bella walked in wearing leggings and a fitted top like she was filming a lifestyle video. She bounced the baby on her hip like he was an accessory. She looked around. "You've got good equipment." "Thank you," I said. She tilted her head and studied me. "You still look good," she said, almost surprised. "For your age." I smiled. "Thank you," I said. "For your audacity." She laughed like she thought I was joking. Then she said it. "I need a personal trainer," she said. "Someone discreet. Someone who doesn't gossip. Charles doesn't want me going to a public gym. Do you know anyone?" My mind went perfectly still. Because the universe had just handed me a lock. And I knew the key. I leaned against the weight rack. "Actually," I said yes. Her eyes brightened. "Really? Someone good. The best," I said. "Do they work with postnatal bodies?" she asked, sweet and proud. I glanced at her baby, then back at her. "He works with women who want control," I said. "Physically. Mentally. Socially." Bella laughed. "That sounds dramatic," she said. "Not to the women who hire him," I said. She leaned closer. "What's his name?" I let the silence stretch just enough to feel like a gift. "Mateo Alvarez," I said. That night I called him. He answered on the second ring. "Evelyn," he said. Warm. Like my name still meant something outside of my marriage. I closed my bedroom door. "Mateo," I said. "I need help." There was a pause. "You don't ask for help," he said. "I know," I said. "What happened?" he asked. I told him enough. Not everything. Enough to show him the shape of the danger. He did not gasp. He did not lecture. He did not ask why I stayed. He said, "What do you need?" That was Mateo. He never needed to be the hero. He only needed to be useful. I need you to take a client, I said. She lives in my home. Mateo exhaled slowly. That sounds dangerous, he said. It is, I said. But it's controlled danger. What's the goal, he asked. I stared at my reflection in the mirror. Elegant. A woman trained to smile. The goal, I said, is to collect leverage. He was quiet. Then he said, is this revenge? No, I said. It's survival. Another pause. Then he said, tell me what you want. Exactly. So I did. I told him about Charles. About the board. About the reputation. About the way Charles treated me like a piece of the house. I told him Bella was proud and hungry and careless. I told him I had heard rumors over the years. Offhand comments. Locked drawers. Late-night calls. I did not have details. But I knew one thing. Men like Charles do not get that rich by being obedient. Mateo listened, then said, I can't do anything illegal. Neither can I said. There was a smile in his voice. Good, he said. Then we do it the right way. He came to Greenwich the next day. When he walked into the gym, I understood why women paid him absurd money. He was 6'3". Latino. Thick dark hair. Light stubble. Shoulders that filled the doorway. Confidence that did not need volume. The kind of confidence that makes loud men uncomfortable. Bella showed up 10 minutes late. She glanced at Mateo and her expression shifted immediately. It was the look of a woman realizing she had just ordered something expensive. Hi, she said, too sweet. You must be Mateo. Mateo smiled politely. Professional. Controlled. Isabella, he said. Nice to meet you. Bella glanced at me like she wanted to confirm I did this on purpose. I smiled back like I was innocent. Mateo began with an assessment. Normal. Professional. But I watched Bella's posture. The way she stood taller. The way she flipped her hair. The way she laughed too loudly at small comments. She wanted him. And when people want something, they start talking. I stayed in the room for the first session for one reason. I wanted Bella to understand one thing. I was the gatekeeper. I gave her this, and I could take it away. After that, I left them alone. Not completely. Not foolishly. I had staff. I had routines. I had eyes. I had timestamps. And I had the house. Our mansion was enormous. Corridors. Back staircases. Doors people forgot existed. Security cameras and blind spots. Old intercom systems and newer upgrades. And a house manager who still treated me like the wife. I was still the wife. For now. Within 2 weeks, Bella increased her sessions. 2 times a week became 3. Then 4. Then she added recovery sessions, stretching, breath work, mobility. She started wearing outfits that had nothing to do with fitness. She started bringing Mateo smoothies like she was his girlfriend. And she started oversharing. At first it was harmless. Charles hates when the press calls him old, she said one day. Charles doesn't like flying commercial, she said another day. Charles says his accountant is a wizard, she said, like that was cute. Then it got darker. Charles says the IRS is a joke, she said, rolling her eyes. If you're rich enough, rules are optional. Mateo told me that line that night. We met off the property in my car at a quiet overlook by the water. No flirting. No touching. This was business. Mateo said, she's talking like she wants you to know she's inside the castle. She is inside the castle, I said. Mateo nodded once. She's careless, he said. And she wants to impress me. That's what I'm counting on, I said. Then I said the line that mattered. Do not push her, I said. Let her push herself. Mateo smiled slightly. You always were smarter than the men you married, he said. I laughed quietly. Don't say that, I said. It makes it sound like I chose badly twice. His smile widened. No, he said. It means you learned. And if you are listening like this is an audiobook, this is the point where the tone shifts. At the time, I thought Bella moving into my home was the worst thing that would happen. I was wrong. Because the next betrayal was not personal. It was financial. Charles started tightening money around me. Not loudly. Not dramatically. Quietly. Like a man testing a leash. My credit cards started declining for certain expenses. Not groceries. Not household. Only things that made me independent. A spa membership renewal failed. A donation I made every year to a women's scholarship fund was suddenly pending. Even my personal account started requiring approvals. I confronted him one evening in his office. Bella's wing lights were on. Of course they were. I stood in front of his desk. Why is my account locked, I asked. He did not look up from his laptop. Because you're emotional lately, he said. I don't need you making impulsive decisions. My stomach dropped. Not from fear. From clarity. He thought I was stupid. I'm not impulsive, I said. He finally looked up, tired, like I was a nuisance. "Evelyn," he said, "you're not leaving. You're not blowing up our family. You're too dependent. So stop acting like you have leverage." Then he smiled. "I'm protecting you from yourself. Protecting you from yourself. That is what men say when they are taking your power and calling it love." I nodded. "Okay," I said softly. He leaned back, satisfied. He thought okay meant surrender. It meant confirmation. Because now I knew exactly what he would do if I moved too early. He would starve me out. So I waited. And while I waited, Bella kept talking. Matteo reported names. Dates. Private flights. Consultants. Offshore. Phrases she threw around like jewelry. He never asked leading questions. He never interrogated. He made her feel admired. And admiration is a drug. Then Bella said something that made Matteo go still. "Charles has this folder he calls insurance," she said. "He keeps it locked. It's all the things that would destroy everyone if it ever got out. He says it's how you stay untouchable. Insurance. A locked folder. Men like Charles do not keep insurance unless they are doing something that requires protection. I did not try to break in. That is how you get caught. Instead, I used the system. I asked the house manager about upgrades, about office maintenance, about security. I acted like I was being practical, domestic, harmless. Then I learned the simplest truth. Charles's office safe had a service code, and the safe company sent maintenance logs to the home email system. The home email system I still controlled because Charles never noticed domestic infrastructure. I found the maintenance email. I found the technician's name. I found the schedule. Then I made a call. Not to the safe company, to my attorney. I had an attorney now. Quietly, discreetly. Very expensive. Her name was Marissa Klein. New York. Shark in a silk blouse. A woman who did not get intimidated by men like Charles. She handled men like Charles for breakfast. I did not tell her the whole story yet. I told her the pieces that mattered. "My husband is restricting my access to funds," I said. "I believe he may be hiding assets. I need to know my options." Marissa did not gasp. She did not pity me. She said, "Document everything. Keep it clean. Don't tip him off." I smiled. "Don't worry," I told her. "He thinks I'm furniture." By month 10, Bella grew bold. She started walking through the main house like she owned it. She started making suggestions. My portrait wall was dated. The formal dining room was too stiff. The family spaces should reflect new energy. One afternoon she walked into the sitting room where I was reading and said, "Charles thinks we should change the master suite." I looked up slowly. "The master suite is mine," I said. Bella smiled. "Nothing is really yours," she said. I stared at her. Then I smiled. "You're right," I said. "Nothing is really mine." Bella looked satisfied. Then I added, "That's why I'm careful about what I allow myself to want." Her smile faltered. She did not understand that statement. She would. Soon. By month 12, I had enough. Not enough to blow up his life in the papers. Enough to end him in private. I had documentation of financial restriction. A pattern of coercion. Text messages from Charles instructing staff to prioritize Bella's needs over mine. I had recordings that were legal. House intercom logs. Security footage of movements. Timestamps. Proof of behavior. And I had Matteo's notes. Not gossip. Not fantasy. Notes of what Bella voluntarily bragged about. Names. Phrases. Claims. Then I got the biggest piece. Bella laughed one day and said, "Charles thinks the IRS agent is already handled. He said the audit will disappear, like magic." Handled. Audit. Disappear. That was not just arrogance. That was admission. Marissa Klein smiled when I told her. "That's enough to make him negotiate," she said. "I want more than negotiation," I replied. Marissa's eyes stayed calm. "What do you want?" she asked. "I want to end this without him controlling the narrative," I said. "I want an out-of-court settlement. I want the mansion. I want over 100 million. And I want a separate trust for my children that he cannot touch." Marissa paused. "That's ambitious," she said. "My husband moved his pregnant mistress into my home," I said. "Ambition is the bare minimum." Marissa nodded. "Then we build a settlement that looks like mercy," she said. "That is what people do not understand about real revenge. It does not look like rage. It looks like paperwork. It looks like calm. It looks like a woman sitting across from a man and letting him realize the room has changed." We chose the day carefully. Charles was hosting a small gathering. Not a gala. No press. Board members and a couple of powerful investors. The kind of men who believed they were untouchable. Bella floated around in a dress that looked like she wanted to be introduced as the new wife. I watched her laugh with an investor's wife like she had never been the other woman a day in her life. I walked through my own home like I belonged there. Because I did. I smiled. I hosted. I was perfect. Then, at exactly 9:30 p.m., I asked Charles to step into his office. He followed me with irritation because men like him hate being redirected. Inside, I closed the door and placed a folder on his desk. He glanced at it. "What is this?" he asked. "A decision," I said. He laughed once. "What now, Evelyn?" he said. "Are we doing this tonight?" In the middle of my meeting. "Yes," I said. He looked at me sharply. "Because I chose tonight," I added. "Not you." That stopped him. He stared like he was trying to remember who I was. Then he opened the folder. He expected divorce papers. Emotional demands. He did not expect what he saw. His face changed in slow stages. Confusion. Irritation. Calculation. Then something close to fear. "What is this?" he asked again, quieter. "It's a settlement proposal," I said. "Out of court. No press. No mess. You sign. You leave. And you take Bella with you." His jaw tightened. "You're insane," he said. I smiled. "No," I said. "I'm late." He slammed the folder shut. "You think you can blackmail me," he snapped. I leaned forward slightly. "I think you've been blackmailing me for a year," I said. "With my money. With my reputation. With the threat of making me look unstable if I fought back." Charles stood. "You have no idea who you're dealing with," he said. I looked at his Rolex, then at his face. "I'm dealing with a man who thinks his watch makes him God," I said. His eyes flashed. "Careful," he warned. I set my phone on the desk. "Marissa Klein," I said. "My attorney. New York. She moves quietly. And she moves loudly if I ask." Charles froze. "You hired a lawyer," he said, like I had committed a crime. "I hired a professional," I said. "Because you stopped acting like a husband." He laughed sharply. "You don't have leverage," he said. "You have nothing. You have my name and my money and my house and my staff." I nodded. "That's what you told yourself," I said. Then I opened a second folder. Thinner. Cleaner. More deadly. "Read," I said. He opened it. Inside were the notes, timestamps, admissions, names, phrases, the audit line. His face went pale. "What is this?" he whispered. "It's Bella," I said. "Talking. Bragging. Slipping." He looked up, furious. "You set her up," he hissed. I smiled. "I let her be herself," I said. He slapped the papers down. "This is nothing," he said. "It's hearsay. It's gossip. Not evidence." I nodded. "You're right," I said. "It's not evidence. Not yet." His eyes narrowed. "What does that mean?" he said. "It means you can sign tonight and keep this private," I said. "Or you can refuse and watch how quickly private arrogance becomes public questions." His nostrils flared. "You wouldn't," he said. I leaned in. "I spent 27 years being polite," I said. "Do not confuse that with weakness." He stared at me. Then he said quietly, "How much?" Now we were negotiating. 112 million, I said. Plus the mansion. Plus a separate trust for Grant and Sloan that you cannot touch. Plus a non-disparagement clause. You do not speak my name like I was a footnote. He laughed bitterly. "You think you deserve 100 million, he said. I smiled. "No," I said. "I think you can afford more." "You're bluffing," he said. I tilted my head. "You want to test it?" I asked. His jaw clenched. He looked at the door. The party outside. The investors in my sitting room. The optics he worshipped. Then he looked back at me. "What do you have?" he asked. I did not answer immediately. Because money was not the lever I wanted him to feel first. Pride was. So I said, "I have enough." He breathed through his nose. "And what about Bella?" he asked. "She leaves tonight," I said. He scoffed. "She has a baby," he said. "My baby?" "Yes," I said. "And you have a penthouse in Manhattan. A house in the Hamptons. Corporate apartments you forgot I know about. You will survive." He stared. "You planned this," he said. "You planned your affair," I replied. "I planned my exit." He opened his mouth, then closed it. For the first time, Charles realized he was not holding the only pen. He sat back down slowly. "You think you can win," he said. "I already did," I said. He stared at me for a long moment. Then he said, "If I sign, you keep it quiet." I nodded. "Yes," I said. "I am not Bella. I do not need attention. I need control." That line hit him because it was true. Bella wanted status. I wanted freedom. Charles picked up the folder again, scanned, slowly, looking for a trick. Then he said, "I need time." I smiled. "No," I said. "You need to decide if your pride is worth more than your money." His eyes narrowed. What are you talking about? He asked. I reached into my bag and placed a sealed envelope on his desk. He stared at it like it was alive. What is that? He asked. Your last reason to sign, I said. He did not touch it. He swallowed. Evelyn, he said lower. What did you do? I smiled. I did what you taught me, I said. I protected the brand. He opened the envelope. Inside was a transcript summary. Nothing graphic. Nothing illegal. Nothing explicit. Just a recorded conversation. Bella's voice. Laughing. Bragging. And one line that would end Charles's public life if it ever leaked. Not a crime how-to. Not details. Just a confession of intent. A cruel truth in plain words. Charles's face went white. He looked up and his voice shook with fury. You can't, he said. I leaned forward. I can, I said. And I won't. If you sign. His hands trembled slightly. Because in Charles's world, money was replaceable. But pride was oxygen. He stared at me and whispered, You're a monster. I smiled. No, I said. I'm the woman you made. He looked down at the settlement. Then he picked up the pen. And he signed. When he finished, he threw the pen down like it offended him. He stood. You think this makes you powerful, he said. It makes me free, I said. He walked to the door, then turned back. You'll regret this, he said. I tilted my head. Charles, I said, you're standing in my office. He blinked, and looked around like he was seeing the room for the first time. Then he walked out. I followed him into the hallway. Not behind him. Beside him. We entered the sitting room where board members and investors were laughing. Bella perched like a queen. Charles cleared his throat. Everyone, he said, I have to cut the evening short. Family matter. Bella's smile faltered. She stood. What? She said. Charles. Charles did not look at her. He looked at me. He waited like he wanted me to save him from the humiliation of speaking. I smiled. Bella, I said, pack what you need for tonight. Your car will be ready in 20 minutes. Bella stared like I slapped her. You can't tell me what to do, she snapped. I smiled. I just did, I said. She turned to Charles. Tell her, Bella said. Tell her this isn't happening. Charles's jaw clenched. He glanced at the men watching. The wives watching. Staff pretending not to listen. His pride trapped him. So he did what men like him always do. He chose the path that protected his image. Bella, he said, tight, do as you're told. The room went silent. Bella's mouth fell open. What? She whispered. Charles did not explain. He did not comfort her. He did not soften it. Because once Bella stopped being a fantasy, she became a liability. Bella's face twisted with rage. She looked at me and hissed, You think you won. I smiled. I don't think, I said. I know. She stormed toward the east wing. One of the investors' wives let out a tiny gasp like she was watching theater. I looked at her and smiled politely. Dessert is in the dining room, I said. Please enjoy. That was my favorite moment. Not because it was cruel. Because it was controlled. Because I did not shout. Because I did not beg. I simply redirected the evening like the hostess I had always been. Except now I was hosting my own liberation. Charles left later. Quietly. No drama. Driver waiting. Bella left that night with the baby and a suitcase and a face full of hatred. The east wing lights went dark. For the first time in a year, the house felt like mine again. I slept like a woman who had finally stopped holding her breath. But Charles was not done. Men like him never accept defeat cleanly. 3 days later, Marissa called me. He's stalling, she said. He's asking for revisions. He's trying to renegotiate. I laughed once. Of course he is, I said. He thinks you'll back down, she replied. I looked out across the lawn. Perfectly trimmed. Perfectly controlled. He doesn't understand, I said. I didn't back down when he moved her in. I'm not backing down now. Marissa paused. What else do you have? She asked quietly. Enough, I said. Be careful, she warned. I've been careful for 27 years, I said. Now I'm precise. That evening, Charles called me directly. He had not called me directly in months. He treated me like staff. Now his voice was smooth, soft. Dangerous. Evelyn, he said. We need to talk. No, I said. We already did. You're being unreasonable, he said. I laughed. I learned from the best, I said. You think you can take my money and my house and walk away clean, he said. You think you can humiliate me. I didn't humiliate you, I said. You humiliated yourself. I just stopped cleaning it up. You don't want a war, he said. Charles, I replied, you brought a pregnant mistress into my home. You already declared war. I just didn't fire back immediately. Silence. Then he said, how much do you want? Read what you signed, I said. He laughed bitterly. You're not that woman, he said. He still did not see me. So I gave him the final lesson. Yes, I said softly. I am. Then I said, if you delay, if you force this into court, I will release what I have. Not to the press, to the people who will ask questions you cannot answer. He went quiet. Then he said, you wouldn't dare. Do you want to find out? I asked. What do you have? He demanded. I paused. Then I said, you have a reputation you worship, and I have a recording that would turn you into a punchline. His voice cracked with rage. You set me up, he hissed. No, I said. I waited for you to trip. You did the rest. He slammed the call off. 2 days later, Marissa called. He signed the final version, she said. I closed my eyes. Good, I said. Funds will transfer in stages, she added. The title will be recorded. The trusts will be established. I exhaled slowly. Then Marissa said, Evelyn, this is a lot of money. It's a lot of life, I said. A month later, Charles was gone from the property entirely. Bella was gone. The baby was gone. The East Wing was quiet. People in town whispered. They always do. Some said I was heartless. Some said I must have done something scandalous. Some said Charles was a victim. That one made me laugh. Charles Harrington had never been a victim in his life. He was a predator who finally met a woman who learned how to hold a spear. I saw him once after everything, in Manhattan, at a restaurant where power goes to be seen. He looked the same. Suit. Rolex. Smile. But the smile was tighter. I walked past his table without stopping. He said my name. Evelyn. I paused and looked at him. He stood like he still had manners. You look well, he said. So do you, I replied. His jaw tightened. You think you won? He said quietly. Charles, I said, you're still talking like this is a game. His eyes narrowed. What is it then? He asked. I smiled, gentle and final. It's my life, I said. And you're not in it. His face flickered. For a moment, I saw it. Not remorse. Not love. Loss. Not of me. Of control. I nodded politely and walked away. Outside, the city air felt sharp and clean. My phone buzzed with a text from Mateo. You okay? I smiled. And I meant it. Mateo and I did not become a tabloid couple. I did not pose on yachts to prove I was still desirable. I did not need to prove anything. Mateo remained what he had always been. A reminder. That I had once been a woman with choices, and that I could be again. I donated to the scholarship fund Charles tried to freeze. I increased it. Quietly. I set up a private foundation for women who left careers and needed a bridge back. Not a speech. Not a manifesto. A bridge. Because being erased is not just emotional. It is structural. And structure is what I know. I renovated the East Wing. Not because I wanted to forget. Because I wanted to reclaim. I turned it into guest suites for my children. For friends. For laughter. I turned Bella's rooms into something useful. Which is what she should have done in the first place. Sometimes I catch myself smiling at simple things. A quiet breakfast. A credit card that does not decline. A bank account that does not require permission. A house that does not feel like a stage for someone else's fantasy. And when people ask me how I stayed so calm, I tell them the truth. I wasn't calm. I was focused. Because rage is loud and short. But patience is a blade you sharpen slowly. And when it finally cuts, it cuts clean. My name is Evelyn Harrington. And this was Beyond Restraint. If you enjoyed this story, please be sure to like, share, and subscribe.